welcome to this second module of our course, Unlocking the Potential of Biotechnology in Food Production. I'm very happy to be with all of you. A lot of participants are already advancing in the module 1, and this second lecture will be also very interesting, dealing specifically with bioeconomics as a way to an opportunity to create value. This module, this session, together with the learning material, explores the potential of bioeconomics to drive sustainable development and value creation, of course, as we have already defined, with an inter-regional approach. We will do this session with two experts, one from Latin America and one from South Africa. Maximiliano Bordas is the one from Argentina. He's an agricultural engineer, specialist in strategic planning, bioeconomy, and agricultural marketing. He has a diploma in bioeconomics, a master in economics and business. He's an entrepreneur and a member of Chakra BioInnova from APRESID organization. He will explain later about this. And from South Africa, Dr. Nontutuku Maninji, from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. She is a senior lecturer and researcher at this university. She holds a PhD and a postgraduate certificate in higher education from the University of Pretoria. Her research interests are in antimicrobial molecular diagnostic markers for Mycobacterium tuberculosis. She's an expert and a researcher on these subjects, and we are very happy to host both of you and all the participants from the different regions that are today with us. So to begin with, we will start with Professor Maximiliano Bordas, as I mentioned, an engineer from Argentina, working as an entrepreneur and also as part of APRESID, a national organization from the cereal area, a very innovative one. And we are ready, Max, to listen to you while we are still accepting participants from the different countries of the world. You are very welcome. And let me remind you, while we wait for Max, that you will have on the learning platform all the learning material, both the presentations the experts will be delivering today, plus some papers, some strategic planning documents from different countries of our regions that can help us to understand better about biomass, about bioenergy, biomaterials, and bioeconomy as a whole. With all those materials, we really think you can have a general overview on the subject, and you are invited to take the introductory questions before, to assess, to learn with this material, and then to take a final test with some true and false questions, and also with some multiple choice questions that have been defined to assess your knowledge, your comprehension, to check on the learning outcomes of this module.
Thank you, Jimena. Well, my name is Maxi Bordas. I'm representing BioInnova Proceed. I like to compare to us like this presentation. The presentation will be about how we are, what do we do, defining bioeconomy and potential of biomass waste, our innovation model and contribution to circularity, and the conclusion and expectations. How we are and what we do. Okay. Our members are grouped regionally with different objectives and organizational levels. Green dots show those groups that come together to exchange information and experience, and lead technical field days and to train themselves in different topics. The orange dots of farmers and to move and step forward. They make alliance with company and research to lead ARD projects to solve common challenges and problems in the region. To mention some examples, of those challenges, how to manage water supplies in floodable areas, how to prevent the oil erosion or fragile soils in semi-arid regions, how to optimize the integration in systems that combine agriculture and livestock farming. What we do and who. We promote the sustainable production of food, fibers, and energy. These two pillars of work have a lot to contribute and are closely aligned with bioeconomy. But before we go into each one and tell you what they are about and how we are working on each one specifically, it is important to define what we are talking about when we talk about the bioeconomy. We try to define bioeconomy and the potential of biomass waste. The bioeconomy refers to an economy based on the sustainable valorization of biological resources. It encompasses the production, utilization, and conservation of biological resources, including activities such as agriculture, forestry, fisheries, and food production, as well as industrial sectors that use biological resources like biotechnology, renewable energy, waste treatment, and the development of bioproducts. The goal of bioeconomy is to support to development of a more sustainable economy by reducing dependence on non-renewable resources, minimizing environmental impact, and promoting and closed loop of material and energy. It aims to improve the efficiency in the use of natural resources while simultaneously generating economic growth and employment, maintaining a balance with environmental conservation. The principles of bioeconomy align with concepts of sustainability and the circular economy, where products are materials and reused, recycled, and valorized to the maximum extent to the reduce waste generation and the extension of new and natural resources. The bioeconomy is seen as significant response to global challenge, such climate change, food security, and sustainable management of natural resources. The bioeconomy, to a certain extent, deals with biologization of industrial value creation. It provides renewable carbon to the industry and can directly replace fossil carbon in almost all applications. Sorry for my English. In contrast to mineral and metals, metals, maintaining the value of biomass in cascading use, which is most easier with the metals and minerals, is a challenge. The principle of cascading use means that the biomass should first be used as a material and the energy it contains should be recovered at the end of the product life. Also, respecting the waste hierarchy, which involve reuse and recycle prior to disposal. Therefore, the circular economy is dominated by the metals and mineral industries. In comparison, biomass is considered lesser with respect to other materials. The bioeconomy is adding an additional organic recycling route that expands the circular economy. The technologies that emerge in the context offer an unprecedented capacity for reorganizing productive process. They also tend to redefine sectorial boundaries and alter the prevailing forms of competition across wide range of sectors. The speed with which these transformations occur pose a formidable challenge for Latin America. Industrial and technological policy, but the gaps that remain to be closed are generally very wide and are caused by strong uncertainty. Charities
Maxi, I don't know if you are moving on with your slides. We are seeing the biomass, organic matter.
Yeah.
Are you
okay.
moving forward? Okay. Now potentials of biomass. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Millions of tons of waste biomass produced in various countries of America, showing colored code of direct and indirect origin of the waste of biomass produced in each country. Such, for example, Brazil, 99% that biomass produces is direct, and Argentina, 46% is direct, and 54% is indirect. Okay, I will talk about Chakra Bioinnova, like it's my group inside the Appreciate program, and I want to talk about the how we work about the bioeconomy. Okay, this project initially brought together producers from the south of Buenos Aires who saw close production gaps on their farms, bringing the current yields of the main crops closer to potential yields. But a frost in 2018, which caused practically all crops to fail, made them realize that improving yields was not sustainable if they did not think of more resilient system capable of adapting to challenge scenarios, such as are those of any activity which depends on much issues like the weather. Thus, we try to think beyond the farming gate, and in 2008, we made progress in incorporation value adding alternative at origin. For this purpose, we made alliance with INTA in Argentina and some companies to analyze projects related to biomass transformation. As they gained experience, they began to understand that production disconnected from the demand, and this was not desirable either. Thus, in 2020, they added another focus of analysis focusing on the consumer and add various business alternatives, including active startup and technology. There, as a result, a venture capital fund, we founded venture capital, then the name is Inventure, which focus in channeling investment in the agri-food tech verticals. Today, the firm is focusing on seeking the unite both previous ideas. We evaluate business alternative with bioeconomy as the axis of the other social issues related to climate change. For example, biofertilizers as a regional business model plan, plant proteins, silvopastoril projects, and another. This evolution that to look place in the Bioinnova project was only possible thanks to fulfillment of these principles of network innovation. Just to mention one example, Nutrilanda in Mendoza is one of the initiatives that are part of this last work in the Chakra Bioinnova. Nutrilanda is a company to reuse waste from fruits and vegetable production to manufacture biofertilizers. The waste of fruit and vegetable in Latin America is close to 15% of what production. Nutrilanda turned this into an opportunity, using this waste as raw material to produce compost, humus, and free amino acids that are used for climate. Another example, the Vinsa are a bio-based industry, a bio-refinery that utilizes knowledge and technology to support to regenerate work of nature. With nearly 100 years of history, they have a specialty in upcycling of residual biomass. Introduce product transformation on renewable and biological resources, like discard from the wine making process. In this way, aspire to Darwinsa aspire to contribution to improving the environmental performance and sustainability of the Argentine wine value chain. Another company is Fiordo Austral in Chile. Like they treat waste from the salmon processing industry. They promote the circular economy and work by adding value to organic byproducts generated by other industries, extending their life cycle and promotion more sustainable process. Their goal is to be strategic allies of their client, innovation tailored solution to contribute to the sustainable development. Okay, conclusion. I very short. I think the bioeconomy is an opportunity for development in Latin America and will continue to be even more strongly after the crisis. Its answerfulness and effectiveness in the correct context help is to be considered. How you say? Sorry. Help to reconsider. Sorry.
Can I help you? Tell me, I can help you.
Sorry.
This is a multilingual session, so it's perfect.
Okay.
One can speak. Tell me, and maybe I can help you.
Okay, I talk about the conclusion now. The bioeconomy is an opportunity for development in Latin America, and we will continue to be even more strongly after the crisis. Its usefulness and effectiveness in the current context helps in it to be considered strategic for the future. This crisis highlight that development model to be built must be more resilient, sustainable, and inclusive. In this scenario, bioeconomy is a strategic response based of the comparative advantage that the region has for efficiently industrializing biological resources. Sorry. The needs of the biotechnology sector are primarily associated with the adoption and use of technologies that allow them to improve the development of their product and service, and at the same time enhance their internal process. These companies or R&D companies have been making significant efforts to develop products and services in line with global consumption trends. However, there is still a long way to go. The challenge for company in the context of the 4.0 revolution is to increase their level of investment in research and development and the continuous change their joint work with academia. Bioeconomic is a key sector to encourage growth in rural areas and in work of finding ecosystem and biological resources. It's necessary to make an innovation effort to feed population, supply potable water and clean energies. Latin America is endowed with the necessary natural and human resources. It's only required that we enlist talent through state policy with broad consensus that generate foreign exchange and quality jobs throughout our territory. It's possible, and the international circumstance seem to be to attempt it. I'm gonna take, it's my finish my presentation, but I can say anything in Spanish, please.
Yes, yes, of course. I will try to translate it.
Okay. Creo que a partir de este siglo y de lo que se viene viendo después de la crisis del COVID-19, tenemos una oportunidad de reconfigurarnos como sociedad, de reconfigurar nuestra bioeconomía. Y creo que la bioeconomía es la estrategia, tanto para países de Latinoamérica como para países de África, de reconfigurar el planeta. Tenemos la materia prima.
Let me, wait. I cannot translate the whole thing. What Maximiliano is saying that in this last century and after the COVID crisis, we do have an opportunity to rethink and to restructure our bioeconomy. And this can be a strategy for Latin America and for Africa to improve and to contribute with the environment and with the world with this new model of this new bioeconomic model.
Okay. Latin America and África tienen la calidad de academia y tienen la calidad de empresas y de emprendedores que pueden hacer que esto cambie y que reconfigure el mapa mundial.
So Maximiliano states that Latin America and Africa do have the academic and scientific background or structure together with companies and entrepreneurs, generating an environment able to produce this change and to definitely contribute to the world situation.
Y siempre es importante que los gobiernos estén alineados con lo que demanda la sociedad.
And together with this, it is very important that governmental organizations are aligned with this vision and contribute to the fulfillment of these objectives.
Gracias, Jimena.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. You can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
I think you've been able to describe very well the concept of bioeconomic, the principles. Also, we have enjoyed the overview of the biomass sources in Latin America. I think that is really an important data we need to assess. If we are thinking on bioeconomy, we need to start thinking on which is the biomass available in each of our regions, to start thinking on energy, biomaterials, medicines, and all the products we can generate departing from this biomass. You then continue with describing your organization. I think it's a very interesting model of agricultural innovation. Many of the companies using very well-known biotechnology processes and generating, of course, innovation. And then you finish with specific cases, Nutrilanda, Dervinsa, and the Chilean experience, which are good practices from Latin America. I'm sure our colleagues from Africa are really appreciating these cases. So thank you very much, Maximiliano. And we will give place to Professor Nontutuku, if you are there, to share your vision from South Africa, but for Africa, on the opportunity bioeconomics can generate for our societies. Let me tell you, Professor, that we are having as participants colleagues from Uganda, from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Mexico, from the United States, from Zimbabwe, from Abuja in Nigeria. One of our participants specifically mentioned it, so you have a great audience to learn together with you on this subject. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much. My name is Nontu Tugomaningi from South Africa. I work for the university called the University of KwaZulu-Natal at the Westfield campus. So my talk today is on bioeconomic, an opportunity to create value. So I'm gonna try and bring the South African perspective in this. I'm sure the other African people from the continent will relate to what I'm going to discuss today. Now let's look at my presentation outline. I'm gonna try and again define the bioeconomy. I'm going to discuss the framework of bioeconomy. Try and explain the bioeconomy in pharmaceuticals, in conservation and biodiversity, in bioinnovation in agriculture, in organic waste and bioenergy. Okay, I'm going to repeat the definition of bioeconomy. I know it has been defined before by the previous speaker, but all in all, or in short, it is an economic activity derived from biological sources, materials, and processes through research and innovation. So it encompasses several fields such as agriculture, forestry, fisheries, conservation, biology, etc. So within the South African context, these may also include technology and non-technological exploitation of natural resources, such as animals, plants, plant biodiversity, microorganisms, and minerals to improve human health, address food security, and subsequently contribute to economic growth and improve quality of life. Now let's look at the framework. It starts with a government. So government has to design policies, strategies, and legislation. And also there are driving forces for bioeconomy and societal objectives. And the driving forces, some of them will be technology and innovation, market organization, climate and environment change, and societal objectives would be the food and nutrition security, sustainable natural resources and management. Okay. And all these can be used, can be reused for land, for water, also for skill demands and supply. So a lot of countries have strategic plans on bioeconomy, and South Africa is one of them. Through the Department of Science and Technology, South Africa has designed strategic science programs which are tasked to drive the bioeconomy. So the Department of Science and Technology is built around coordinated efforts that recognizes 3 key economic areas, which is agriculture, health, and industry and environment. In 2014, the top 7 biotechnology companies in South Africa contributed to 1 billion turnover. So we can see by this that bioeconomy is an opportunity to create values. Now let's look at pharmaceuticals. Like I said, the Department of Science and Technology in South Africa is the one that is mandated to drive and implement a bioeconomy. So the South African Department of Science and Technology has got sectors or has got councils and centers that are used to conduct research and also to perform the implementation. And one of them is the biomanufacturing industry development sector, which operates like an incubator, providing biomanufacturing facilities, laboratory infrastructure, access to experts in agro-processing and bioprocessing, as well as product development and scale up. So this center, which is also known as BIC, has advanced over 100 bioproducts in cosmetics, nutrition, and biotechnology. So let's look at one of its success stories, where a company called Vita Pharmaceutical has produced accessible and affordable nutritional food from bubak plants and maize. So people who are coming from Africa, specifically in South Africa, they know that maize is our staple food. It is our source of starch. But some people would not know that maize is also used in pharmaceuticals. So it is used as a disintegrate and a binder. A disintegrate enables tablets and capsules to break down into smaller fragments so that the drug can be released for absorption. So besides maize being our very important staple food, it is also used in pharmaceutical. The bubak plant is a plant which is mostly found in the province of Limpopo in South Africa. And this plant has been used to extract oil from the seeds of this plant. And this oil has been exported for use in the cosmetic industry. Okay. Now let's move to conservation and biodiversity. Center, which is called the Biorefinery Industry Development Facility in South Africa, was tasked by DST to look at the biodiversity, to look at the conservation of plants. So BIT is developing technologies to extract maximum value from biomass waste, particularly waste from forestry. So there's huge quantities of organic waste that are generated annually in the forest industry, but most of these wastes are discarded. Only a minor proportion is used, mainly for biofuel and secondary for compost production. So South Africa has, it is mainly made up of rural areas. So in the rural area, some of the rural areas do not have electricity. So the waste generated from a forest is used as a bioenergy. Now let's look at the biomass product or in forestry. Most of plants or forestry products are used as energy and in other applications such as electricity, firewood, charcoal, and then some are used to make furniture, some are used in building materials, such as poles, and then some are used in industrial inputs for further processing, and some are used for chemicals and agricultural inputs. So the biomass market now would be the energy industry, construction, agriculture, household, hospitality. Now let's look at the balance and hierarchy large-scale use of woody biomass according to the economy and ecological principle. So industry is supposed to use 67%, or it is using 67% of the wood, and then 20% is used for energy, and then 13% is dead wood. And that 13%, it is the one that is the bio waste and is being recycled. Like I said, in the rural areas, that waste wood is used mostly for bioenergy or for making fire. Okay, now let's move to bio-innovation in agriculture. Another center in South Africa, which is the Agricultural Research Council, also known as the ARC. It conducts primary and applied research aimed at fostering innovations and technology adoption in the agricultural sector, including cash crops, horticulture, and livestock. So there has been several successes from ARC. I'm just going to talk about one, which is the project called Kwanafatso ya Dikgomo. Dikgomo is cattle, is cattle in English. So this project is aimed to improve breeding, which results in higher calving rates and growth in head size. So the project was established to facilitate access of small holder farmers in mainstream agricultural economy of the country. So this is one of the successful projects from the ARC in South Africa. Like I said, homo means cattle or cows. Okay, let's move now to organic waste diversion. So South Africa is really running low of land field space. And initiatives such as reduce, reuse, recycle are in place to divert waste from landfills and saves the remaining space. So in a recent audit by another center or council, which is called the CSIR, industrial research showed that almost 40% of all waste that ends up in South African landfills is organic and biodegradable. So this represents a significant loss of nutrients that could have been used for compost and soil fertilization. So to cut costs, composting that waste is one of the solutions, and also some business companies or businesses have been instructed to at least avoid sending organic waste into landfills. It's businesses like the home kitchen, the university dining halls, the restaurants, and business canteens. And that has been very effective. It's also one of the success stories. Also, there are people, normal people from everywhere that collect these waste. They collect plastics, they collect paper, they collect bottles, send them to some companies for recycling, and they get money from it. So this strategy is really working in South Africa to keep South Africa clean, to keep the environment clean, to keep our water clean. Now let's move to the bioenergy. So there's a rising energy demand in South Africa. Those that have been watching the news, they know that we're really running short of energy, which is electricity. The past few months have been most devastating because there was load shedding, and there was a loss of economy, businesses. Some businesses closed down because of lack of electricity, because electricity in South Africa is solely reliable on fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are not sustainable. Now, the government of South Africa is looking now into using renewable energies, is looking into using wind, solar systems, and biofuels to solve this problem. Like I said, South Africa is looking into rolling solar systems, using wind, using biomass, and concentrated solar power for energy. There are other avenues of bioeconomy that have not been truly explored in South Africa. However, there is a lot of work that is done behind closed doors in academia, a lot of research happening where researchers trying to use microbes to produce a lot of products, and also for remediation. We all know that some microbes produces enzymes that can break down complex organic matter, and those enzymes can be used for bioremediation. And there are microorganisms like fungi that can be used in agriculture as pesticides. So there's a lot of opportunities. It's just that all this needs a lot of money. The country needs to invest a lot into the bioeconomy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Nontutuku. You've been so clear and also motivating on which are the challenges for South Africa and I guess for the region, considering all the biodiversity that we have and all the challenges, specifically the energetic challenge you have commented on. I think this is something we can all contribute. Argentina has some experience on that together with Brazil. So this online course is also aimed at generating new ideas and new sources of financing for assessing these huge challenges. So thank you so much. We will be doing one or two questions for each of them, for each of you. For Maximiliano, I have a question regarding the regulatory system, the policy system. I would like to know if you have encountered any policy or regulatory framework related to bioeconomics in your country or in the region. If you can comment on that, how it can push the system.
Yes, recently the new government formed the Secretary of Bioeconomy, which I think is a sign of how strategic it is for Argentina, and it promotes it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Definitely the generation of a secretary with this specific name and this specific approach will help a lot to put all the actors together and to generate some incentives for all to push forward in the bioeconomic sector. I know Professor Obadina, the coordinator of the module, is here. If you want to take on and have some questions for Professor Nontutuku, if you are there, Professor. Otherwise, I can do it.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you, Professor. There are questions here. One was dropped on the chat box, and the question says that there is an energy convention taking place in May in Cape Town, South Africa, at which the Minister of Mineral Resources and ESCOM which happen to be the local electrical power producers, that they're going to have transition of energy in South Africa. So the person is asking that, can this forum be involved in using biomass for energy in South Africa? So I hope you get the question of the question from the participants. So it's asking that, can biomass be now used in South Africa for generating energy? That's the first question. And the second question is that, how can the farmers and small-scale fuel companies afford the cost of biomass treatment? So it's talking about how feasible is this technology for small farmers? So those are the two questions for you, Professor. Thank you.
I'm not sure if I am the correct person to answer the question about Cape Town partnering with the Minister of Mineral Resources and ESCOM. So the question is, can this forum be involved in using biomass for energy in the country?
Yeah, I've tried to restructure the question that, can you advise, if you have that opportunity to advise the high-level delegates at that meeting, that will you want to advise them to use biomass in generating energy in South Africa?
Yes, I would advise that.
Did you get my question?
Yes, I get it now.
Good.
Yes, I would advise that the South African government use the biomass for energy generation because it is sustainable. There's a lot of research happening in academia where, there's use of microbes to generate energy, to generate diesel, to generate ethanol. And there's a whole lot of waste which can be translated into bioenergy. There's a lot of waste that is being discarded anyhow. It is not recycled. And that waste, if it can be collected and be reused as biomass to generate energy, that could be something. And it should not be used alone. It can be used with other things such as your solar panels, where you get energy from the sun. This is a big country. The project would need a lot of money. Biotechnology is not cheap. So energy can be produced through biotechnology, and biotechnology is not cheap. Other developed countries are already doing this, and we can learn from them. What we've been using, which is fossil fuels, is getting depleted. We need alternatives, so they can look into it. And then the second question, Prof, can you please remind me, what was the second question again?
Yes, let me tell you, thank you for that answer. The second question deals with small farmers, small-scale fuel companies affording the cost of biomass treatment. I think you already answered, but if you want to complete, but it has the focus on small-scale activities.
And okay, that speaks to bio-based circular recycling. You are producing something, okay? So whatever is good, or the product that is good, it's going to the market. And then you also have the waste. That waste can be used as feeds. It can be used as feeds to feed, if you are in livestock, to feed your animals, or sell it as well, that waste. If you are not farming animals, you are dealing with other things, that waste can be sold to farmers that have livestock, or it can be compost. You can reuse that waste as compost. This is already happening in the rural areas. In the rural areas, they don't have a system where waste is collected every Thursday or Monday. There's no one collecting waste from those people. So they find a way to discard that waste or reuse that waste. And most of the time, they are reusing the waste by feeding either their livestock or composting the waste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Nontutuku. You've been very clear. You've emphasized this key principle of circular economy, which is the cascading use of biomass, right? That we are using, generating, and reusing what it was waste, and now we can realize we can create fertilizers, biomaterials, energy, and different things. You already mentioned biotechnology is not cheap. I definitely agree. I think we all agree. This, I insist, is an opportunity to find new ways and learning on others' mistakes so that this process can be cheaper and can be more effective. We are big countries with rich biodiversity, so there is a huge opportunity to learn from each other and to start working or to push forward the bioeconomic sector. So thank you. We are perfect on time. Thank you for this also, Professor Nontutuku and Maximiliano. We have addressed questions. We thank all the participants from the many different countries that have joined. Let me remind you, you will have all the material on the platform, the PowerPoint presentations, the recorded sessions, and all the learning materials. I really invite you to read them, to go through it, because they are very, very interesting scientific papers and policy papers addressing the different challenges and opportunities of bioeconomic in our two big and interesting regions. We will continue on May the 9th, addressing the transgenic or gene editing challenges for the new varieties. So please join us the same time on May the 9th. We will have two very distinguished experts from the academic sector, which had also done a lot in the private sector. So very interesting profiles to make us think about this dilemma of transgenic or gene editing, side effects, and big challenges for biotechnology. So thank you all. Again, Professor Nontutuku, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you, Maximiliano Bordas, and thank you, Professor Obadina, for joining as coordinator of this online course.